Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, we will be learning about Azure Governance, and with respect governance, the first one would be the policies. But let's first understand what exactly the Azure Governance. Azure Governance is standard policies, standard settings that you are configuring for your all subscriptions. Let's say you have a subscription for engineering team 1, and also you may have another subscription for engineering 2 or DevOps team 1 more. So if you have more than one or two, three or such kind of different subscriptions, maybe everybody creates their own resources on their own standards, but they're not following a one standard that can govern all these standards. For example, by entering the your billing code or maybe a tag, so that you know that specific resources are coming from which billing code, or which type of the size should be used. Such kind of standards, if you want to automatically to be applied, and they must to follow all the down layer guys, then you need to set up some kind of governance. So that's where the standardizing enforcing of the cloud resources to configure, you need to have your own governance policies to be created. So these will regulate your compliance, cost control, your security, your design consistency, will make it easier for you. And coming back to the cloud native governance, so like you have a developers or the operators or operations team. So what they do is they well built in controls throughout your policy instead of workflows, and that would be set at the proper way, because this is whether when they are trying to create a resource, for example here the billing code and the cost, or maybe some kind of checklist they must have to follow, so that they can use the cloud properly, cloud resources. So for that, that's where actually Azure policy will come into the picture within your enterprise level compliance policies. So what would happen is you can turn on your built-in policies or built-in custom ones for all your resource types. For example, if somebody is creating a resource group, so he must have to create in that specific region only because of your regional data compliance levels. So such kind of settings you can set it at the top level by creating one of the policy, and you can enforce them, and you can even monitor real time by doing some kind of an evaluation and enforcement. You can find out if some kind of machines are not following that standard, and you can apply that any kind of scale, and you can also remediate if something is not following the proper standards. So let's jump into the a proper link which can explain about more about the Azure policies. If we can go through with this link, we can find out that you can set some kind of governance policies, like a specific SQL Server version to be installed on a virtual machines. If you're trying to install such kind of governance policies can be set, or policies can be configured, and we can allow only certain SKU sizes of resources like storage accounts or virtual machines, and SKUs refers to the size of these specific resources. Like in a virtual machines case, the amount of CPU or RAM that we can specify. For example, only allowing small inexpensive sized of virtual machines for certain subscriptions or resource groups, we can configure, or we can set some kind of policies, and we can allow or disallow certain type of resources, resource types that can be altogether can be create or in a specific location altogether. That kind of configurations can be set it. Let's have a look on the policies within the Microsoft Azure Cloud Portal. So if you just go to search and type POLIC policy, and then you get the policies. This is where you're gonna already your subscription level, whatever the policies are already applied. But in your case, if you just wanted to see what are compliant, non-compliant, you would be getting directly here the proper scoring. So in my case, there are a few things which are not compliant. So let me go back and look at here some of the settings that are non-compliant, and there are thousands and hundreds of settings which are already compliant. So there are out of 98, there are three are not running properly. So these are the three non-compliant. For example, DDoS protection for standard should be enabled, which was not there because it's going to charge for me, so I didn't enable. But if I wanted, I need to enable that for my VNet. So I can simply enable this policy can be assigned. So this policy can be when duplicated, like configuring within the ARM kind of templates can be again reusable templates. These are, I can reuse them if I really wanted. But let's go back to creation of any of the policy with a live one of the example, so that you can better understand what I'm trying to talk within the policies. Let's go to policies compliance. I can assign a policy. So I'm going to create here my policy. I'm choosing here my subscription. Even one subscription, you would be selecting that. And if you don't want to apply this policy which we are going to create, you can exclude those resources. But I don't have any missions to exclude or any resource groups that I wanted to exclude from this policy. So the basic policy which I wanted to apply, the policy definition is, so these are all the policies which are available, close to 400 policies already and created by Microsoft for you as a blueprint. So what you can do is you can take any of the policy and whatever it is suitable. For example, if you're looking for some kind of backup should be enabled for your virtual machine, so let's see any of the one is available. So if you see here, Azure backup should be enabled for virtual machine. So this is a policy should be configured for you. So you simply select the policy. You're going to enforce that policies. You're not disabling, you're enforcing. And the parameters you're going to choose here, you can specify here it's going to be audit if not exist. And then create a managed identity. That means what are the missions you're going to create in that specific resource group. So it must be created in the ECS only. So this is how you're defining, you're actually forcing them to choose that specific region only. Such kind of configurations can be done. Then you can simply create on it. So this policy would be gets created. I hope this is useful for you, and I'll catch you in the next lesson.